And I decided I'd go and do a 5K because one of my friends was doing it. So I turned up and did a 5K. He'd been running for about 4 or 5 years. And he was running a fairly decent 5K time, about 22, 23 minutes. And I thought, well, I'll see if I can stay with him. And I ended up doing 22 minutes 30, and I beat him.
I bet he loved that. And that's the voice of Geoff Davey, today's guest on the Agegroup Multisport Podcast. Thank you for tuning in and giving us a listen and your support. Much appreciated, really, really is. I hope you're all well, and I hope you're training or racing, whatever you're doing is going according to plan. So it was nice that Geoff got in touch and said he's got a varied story, and he's represented in different sports, both England and GB. Obviously GB in age group long distance triathlon, and then he'd represented England at vet 50s football. So yeah, he's loved sport all his life, as he says. Ever since he was a kid, he wanted to be a PE teacher, and that came to fruition for him as well. So yeah, really, really nice guy. Really enjoyed this story. I hope you do too. So that's coming up. Can't believe we're nearly at the end of August already. It's just flown by. I'm sure these summers didn't fly by as quickly when we were kids. It's just, I don't know where it's gone. Weather's been mixed. I've been gearing up, doing a bit of training back in the pool towards a sprint distance pool-based triathlon. I can't believe that I haven't done a triathlon in, must be 3 years. I think it was Leeds, the last one I did, the standard over in Leeds, about 3 years ago. Yeah, that was the last one I did. Yeah, so signed up for one and training towards that. I was in the pool 4 times last week. That's like unheard of. And I've actually got back to enjoying swimming. So I've got to say that's really good. Running's coming back as well. I did a brick session the other day, and I was surprised when I got off the bike, and after a kilometre I looked down at my watch, and the pace I was running I was quite pleased at, with no niggles or any issues at all. So that was good. And back on the TT bike, which is nice because it's non-draft in this triathlon, so I can use the TT bike. And that was a bit weird getting back on that after being on the mountain bike pretty much most of the summer, well, most of the year, to be honest. So that was a bit strange. Takes a while to get used to that position again, but yeah, enjoying that as well. So that's what I've been up to. Mrs. C's doing marathon training because she's doing the York Marathon September. So she's gearing to do that. So where we can, we're fitting in runs together, and if she's doing longer runs, I'll go out on the mountain bike with her and support her. Well, hold her nutrition and stuff. So that works well. Quite a lot of sport on TV that we've been watching, and we watched the Super Try, which was really cool. Really enjoyed that. Quite a lot of new faces in there now because quite a few have retired, and a lot of them have moved over to the longer distance, to T100. So there's a lot of new faces coming in, which is nice. Old faces as well. Georgia Taylor-Brown was over in, I think they were in Chicago, the last one, and that was really good. She did well. She come second to Jan Leher, the Luxembourg athlete. So yeah, that was pretty cool to watch. Also been watching a bit of athletics, Diamond League. That's ramping up now to the grand final, and yeah, that's been quite good as usual. And the Vuelta has started, and that's confusing because it started in Italy. I got in today from work, and they'd finished in France, and and they haven't been in Spain yet. So I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, really good racing, quite a good field. So that'll keep me entertained for the next 3 weeks. A bit of podcast recommendations. Just listened today, actually, while I was working, to the Triathlon Hour, and he had the CEO of T100 on, Sam Renouf, I think you call him, and he was, as he does, Jack, he was asking pertinent questions about why so many of their races this last year they've been changed, and he was quite open about it. So it's quite a good interview to listen to if you're into the T100, a bit of background knowledge there. Also listened to Podcast, and they were talking about, which is quite pertinent for me, returning from injury, and that was interesting. And then the last one I listened to that I'm going to recommend was Miles from Ordinary with Jess Lamont and Bex Milne, and they had the up and coming Sophia Green on. She's a Scottish triathlete, and she's had a run of bad luck, shall we say, but she's one to watch in the future. So that was a nice chat that they had with Sophia. Nice to give the up and coming a platform and get the name out there. Those are a few of the episodes that I've been listening to over the last week or so. Makes the day go quicker when you've got something in your ear, if you're able to, of course. You could always listen to it while you're training, I suppose, or walking the dog. But yeah, really good episodes. Get your teeth into. Right, it's now time for the main event. I hope you enjoyed Geoff's story. Really top fella, really enjoyed listening to it. And yeah, we shall see you on the other side. Like I said, thank you once again for coming on the podcast. Much appreciated. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Okay, so yeah, my name's Geoff Davey. I'm now 51 years of age, and I live down in Devon. I'm originally from Bristol. I moved down to Devon in 2015, and my whole life started to change from there, really. But yeah, I grew up in Bristol as a school lad, and it all went from there, really. My love for sport from the very first time I sort of participated in it in primary school. And from that moment on, I loved sport and PE. And my passion was all about wanting to be a PE teacher when I was very, very young.
Right.
Yeah, and I started secondary school in what would be now first year. But now they call it year 7, I believe. Well, of course, I know about this because I'm a teacher. And I was inspired by many of the staff and students that were older than me to participate in sport. And I played lots of football. And I just did some 1,500 meters at Sports Day and won it without knowing that I had some kind of ability. I wouldn't say I had lots of ability, but I had some kind of ability, just basically because I was probably undiagnosed ADHD and very fit and very willing to just get stuck in and work hard and train and just run and just as good lungs on legs, really, because I was a skinny little boy who was sometimes bullied because I was quite small, and I obviously got a birthmark on my face. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I've seen that, Geoff, yeah.
Yeah, and kids were quite nasty about it.
Oh, yeah.
I learned to run pretty quick, so it annoyed them even more because they could never catch me. And my fitness just excelled, really. And I was always the little kid that turned up to training for football, for rugby, and everything like that. I was always really good at it, but I was always so small that I wasn't very significant. So the teachers would often feel sorry for me and like give me a substitute spot on the rugby team, in the cricket team, but always to kind of hold any positions because the competition was quite stiff in my school in those days, back in Bristol. Yeah, so from my sports day in year 7, winning the 1,500 meters, a chap called Paul Derrick, still alive and still going now at Bristol Athletic Club, invited me to go and do a 1,500 meters county championships at Whitchurch Sports Centre against all the best runners in Bristol. And I did the race and I come third. and I'd had no training, no experience or anything like that. And that was 1,500 meters. And I can still remember now, I ran 5 minutes and 1 second, which I probably could run about that time now, I reckon. I was a little bit annoyed about the 1 second. But anyway, I went along to Bristol Athletic Club for, well, through my years of 13, 14, 15. And I managed to get 1,500 meter times down. I did a bit of steeplechase as well, because probably wasn't quite good enough at the 1,500 meters to make any county kind of records. But yeah, I did cross country until I was about 16. Probably quite a familiar story with everyone who's involved in athletics at that age. I decided that there were other things that were more important to me at 16, because I started growing. I got bigger, I got stronger. I did lots of like circuit training, and I quite enjoyed the fact that all those kids that took the mick out of me when I was younger, I was faster, fitter, stronger than. So I then decided to go back and start playing football and start playing rugby, and also I got a little bit interested in the other distractions like ladies and alcohol, as we all do. And running really just fell off the wagon from there. I didn't touch running then, or that kind of fitness then, until I was 39 years of age. Right. So there's a big void of over 20 years for actually being any kind of dedicated to specifically running. Bearing in mind, I've not even rode a bike apart from a BMX throughout this time. And later on, when we find out that I actually can ride a bike, I hadn't ridden a bike throughout my childhood apart from jumping around on a BMX.
Yeah. But all those other sports that you've done, you know what I mean, although you didn't do running, you were still running during those sports. You were still building that fitness base, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And like my youngest son's now finding out, who's also a PE teacher and also plays football. He's coming up to his 30s, and he's saying, "Dad, I just my body's not going to take it for much longer." It comes to us all, doesn't it? And that's the point. He's found golf. But that's the point, that you go and find something else. Or in your case, you'd probably go back to running.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pop around the loads, because after I was sort of 17, 18, I ended up going to university to train to be a PE teacher. And I ended up playing for the football team, the university football team. And I actually got quite good at playing football. And it worked out that, because I'm very strong on my left side, my left foot. Back in those days, I mean, the people that know about football will realise what a left wing back is. And I used to play left wing back. And because they used to call me lungs on legs, I used to just run up and down the wing on the left side, and I could cover ground like anybody's business. I wasn't actually that good at football, very talented. I mean, I was pretty good, a good left foot and everything. But the fitness and the dedication and the sort of willingness to win, and the competitive edge determination and stuff that I would bring, which obviously later on, when I go into athletics and triathlon, pays off. All this hard work and all this dedication sort of comes back to fruit, really. But yeah, I just played football. I played semi-professional football then. I've actually written down my years. From the age of 1994, so I was 20. I played semi-professional football then, all the way up until 2001. I played for a few different teams. I played for Fareham Town. I played for Keynsham Town. And yeah, a lot of that fitness around the semi-professional football was actually running. So without knowing it, I'm doing a good base training for what's to come later. In about the year 2000, when I was 26, I got fed up with football, really, as most people do, really. And back in my uni days, I played a bit of social rugby. And obviously, I was pretty quick because of all the sort of other stuff I'd done. So I played football for Keynsham, and I was watching the rugby team over the fence, and I just thought, why is it we're running around like idiots and we're not even touching a ball? I'm getting fed up with this. I was watching the rugby lads over there, and all they seemed to be doing over the other side of the field was passing a rugby ball around and having fun bashing each other. And of course, I've got much stronger now, and I've not really been able to sort of sustain that or use that before. So I decided I was going to go and play rugby. And my kicking skills obviously were quite beneficial for a rugby team because I could kick the ball anywhere in the half, really, because I've got a hell of a donkey leg of a left foot. And then I just fell into rugby, really. And I played rugby then until I was about 38. And
Right.
yeah, I still play rugby now. Even now, I still play rugby.
Right.
For Devon Vets, at a tournament they play every year. So I play for the over 50s now at rugby. And the same with football, although I'll talk later on about football because that's come back again, but I still stayed in touch with just social five-a-side, social kind of vets football. And I just decided at 39, rugby-wise, my body was done. A bit like you said about your son. My body has taken a battering. I've lost my front teeth. I've broken my leg. I've smashed up my elbow. I've had concussion many times. So, I'm probably going to be a victim of dementia eventually. I don't know, because I've been smashed up loads. So I don't know. My dad's got dementia. So that's going to be something that might catch me up later. I don't know. But as for the running, I decided the year was 2013, and I was 39 years of age. That don't know where it really come from. Apart from we did a fitness time trial, pre-season fitness time trial at my rugby club, and I decided I'd go and do a 5K because one of my friends was doing it. So I turned up and did a 5K. He'd been running for about 4 or 5 years. And he was running a fairly decent 5K time, about 22, 23 minutes. And I thought, well, I'll see if I can stay with him. And I ended up doing 22 minutes 30, and I beat him.
I bet he loved that.
He was pissed right off.
I bet he was.
Yeah. So he said, well, you're being silly. Why don't you join Bitten Roadrunners and have a crack at running? So I did. And also, I didn't feel like I could contribute any more to my rugby team, really, not properly. Having played first team rugby, my body was dead. And a lot of rugby throughout my years was about Saturday. And what I mean by that is you would play on a Saturday and then you turn up Tuesday or Thursday for training. And your questions would be, are you okay for Saturday? Are you okay for Saturday? And my answer would always be no. So then I'd be put on the chiropractic table, twisted about a bit, given some drugs and some ice and say, you're ready for Saturday now. And that pattern would continue for at least 10 years, throughout the rugby season. So it takes its toll.
Yeah.
Do
you regret it?
No, not at all. Those are the best times, I mean, I've represented Great Britain in different sports. But all of those rugby moments, you're not going to ever get back because we were there, a group of mates, and I could still go back to the reunions now and pick up a beer and just get back into how it was, even though we're never going to play rugby again together. But, we say the older I get, the better I was.
I like that. That's very good. Well, like you said, you've made friends and memories for life, haven't you?
Yeah, and wherever I go, whether I'm in Bristol or down in Devon, or actually even parts of the country, I've just got so many contacts, so many people which I can just sort of have a conversation with, have a beer with, and just reminisce on the old times, which is brilliant, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what life's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Building memories. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So what was next then? You'd got back into running.
Yeah, so I decided to do this run, 5K run, and I did stuff like, this is quite good. So I did stuff like the 5K series, and I was a bit scared to do a 10K or a cross country, but yeah, I sort of pushed myself out there and did it again. And then between 2013 and 2016, I really got my head down and did some training. My friend said to me, a guy I worked with, I think it was about 2015, he said this. He said, I'm going to try and run a sub-3 marathon. And something in my head just went, what's that about then? What's that about then? I don't know anything about this because I've never thought about it. So that was something that sparked in my mind. So I signed up for the Great Welsh Marathon, I believe, that year, because you couldn't get in London, could you, as a non? And I think I ran 3 hours 1 minute. which is probably the worst thing that could happen to me, really. You know, a bit like the 5 minutes 1 second when I was
History repeating itself, isn't it?
yeah, and around 3 hours 1 minute, without that much base of training, really. So yeah, I qualified for London Marathon in 2014, 2015. I did it in 2016. I did 250 something, and in that year, and my fitness and my training was just going well. I was working hard. And a chap called Donald Brooks, you've probably heard of.
Donald's been on the podcast.
Right. He doesn't even know this, but in 2015, he said to me, "You should do the GB stuff." And I was like, "What's all that about then?" Because obviously he was well into it.
Yeah, and still is. He's still winning everything.
Yeah, no, he's even better now, really, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the actual park run we've got. It's called Bovey Tracy Park Run, and it's a local park run. It's a really challenging park run that we've got here, and I won it, and he comes second, and he was about 5 seconds behind me, and he was in a big training block, so he was tired, but he was using it as like a platform for his training and stuff, and I beat him, and he's a GB athlete, and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I could do this then. Maybe I should, and I've been riding my bike to work without even thinking I'm building up a load of base fitness for riding a bike. I mean, my cycle ride was 18 miles. So that's twice a day I'm doing that, and I'm doing it 5 days a week. And I just thought it was good for my running.
Yeah.
But it was just transport for me at that time. It was a challenging route, those 18 miles, going from a place where I live called Maniton to Exeter every day. And, the main road's called Long Down. So that gives you an idea of what they're dealing with. And I thought, I'm going to have a crack at that. Why not? And I got on the bike and did a bit of bike training. And in 2016, I did a qualifier, a long distance triathlon qualifier in the Cotswold Water Park. They're called the 113 series or something like that. I don't know if you know those.
I've not heard of that one.
No, but they did a long distance triathlon, and I asked the age group community, or is it John Cowell? Is that his name? John Cowell?
Yeah, John Cowell. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked him if I could use it as a qualifier, and he put me in contact with the right people and said, if you use it as a qualifier and you get a certain distance and time qualify, and I think I come 11th in it,
right.
And basically it's equivalent to an Ironman, and I did it in 11 hours 15.
Right.
And he said, "Geez, that qualifies you easy as a vet 40, because at that time I was 42."
Yeah.
So then in 2017, I qualified for, first of all, the European middle distance duathlon.
Yeah.
Which was in St. Windel in Germany.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
Never heard of it.
Okay. And that was an interesting race for me. That was in May. Later on, I would go on to do the Zofingen World Duathlon Powerman Championships.
Yeah, heard of that one.
In September. But I'll just go back to the middle distance duathlon in the May, which was basically, my goal was the September one, because that would be the World Championships. But John did say you need to have a good performance at the Europeans to make sure you keep your get a qualification for the World Championships in September. So I went off quite well, and because it's a bike run, I think it's a 10k, 50k, 10k, or something like that. I can't remember the exact split. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're all different. It just depends on which race you go to.
Yeah, and I was in I mean, you can't really tell who you're racing against, because lots of different age groups go off at once, and you're kind of like, oh, is he in my group? Is he, what country is he, and I just ran really hard the first 10k. I jumped on the bike and rode really well until the last sort of 2 or 3 miles. And I just remember there's a big hill, and it goes up and it comes back down. and then there's a sort of a sharp right hand bend, a big dog leg, and as I leant over to go around the corner, my tire popped. I had a big blowout, and I rolled, ironically, into a graveyard. I thought I just may as well stay there, but yeah. Anyway, the ambulance for the race sort of medical was right close by. I think there must have been a hotspot for injury.
Yeah.
And he was like, you need sorting out there, mate. And I'm like, no, mate, I'm getting back on my bike. I'm riding. I'm going. And then I realized I had a puncture, and my tire was completely shredded. So there wasn't a chance of like repairing my tire. So I know that I only had this last hill to go before the transition. I jumped back on my bike. Obviously, I had to lean on the back a lot because the front wheel was punctured. Well, no tire at all. And uphill without any front grips, not too bad. And I cycled up to transition and got to transition, and didn't really assess my injuries properly. I could see there's a bit of claret about. I could see there's bits of my clothing missing. But anyway, I was thinking, I've only got 10k to run. What's that? I've just been running miles and miles. I just started running, and yeah, I ran quite well. I got to about 8 or 9k, and I can feel the wind blowing at me. And as the wind's blowing at me, I can feel the soreness from the raw skin that's showing through my tri-vest.
Gravel rash.
And I can just see this blood running down the side of my body. And my shoulder is just like, oh, God, this isn't good. So with 2 kilometers to go, I start assessing my injuries, thinking this probably wasn't a good idea. But I'm so far in now that I may as well finish, right?
Yeah.
And the last 2k was probably the hardest 2 kilometers I've ever ran in my life, because, I mean, I just had no oxygen. My oxygen was just pouring out of me, because until that point, I was probably running on adrenaline, right? And I've got photographs of me finishing. I finished in 22nd place. And the aim for me was to finish in the top 25 to get qualification for the world. So all I was worried about is where I finished.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't really know where I'd finished, because it's all just a bit messy with the different. Anyway, there were lots of other GB athletes there at the finish line. So I thought, oh, well, I've done terrible anyway. And there's photographs of me with them all. And I'm looking at my face in these photographs, and I just look like I'm pale white, where I've obviously just gone beyond what a human being's meant to go through,
Yeah.
And the worst thing was, I went into the tent afterwards to get medically kind of strapped up and stuff, and the medical guy wouldn't let me go. He called me Mr. Sandpaper. That was the only English he knew. Basically, it looked like my body had been sandpapered. But big respect to the mechanics that sorted my bike out. I had a good interaction with Ellie Pooley, the famous silver medalist. She had a kit bag with loads of stuff in. She probably doesn't even realise how much she helped me. She didn't really know me. There were other GB athletes that kind of offered me like support, food, nutrition. And yeah, I had to ride back to the B&B and that was about 3 kilometers. And those 3 kilometers that I rode back to my B&B after I'd finished the race, I didn't even know if I'd qualified really at that point. It was probably the worst ride of my life. But I didn't know whether I'd qualified or the rest of it. And I looked it up when it comes through online, and I'm like, oh, I've done enough. So I was really pleased, really pleased.
It was worthwhile all the pain and suffering that you'd gone through. You got.
I don't know if you ever come across a lady called Ellie Robinson.
I haven't, no.
She's worth looking up.
Okay.
She is, or was, the world record holder for 1,000 laps of the track, I believe.
Right.
She was in her mid-70s when I met her. She was in the room next door to me at the B&B I stayed in, and she'd won the Veterans 70s competition that day, and I was so grateful for her support and guidance throughout the entire experience.
Yeah.
You know, a 70-year-old lady, I think she was 74 actually, so she was at the top end of her age category at that point. What an inspiration she was. She's multiple world champion in age group training, in age group triathlon, and I was so inspired by her.
Yeah.
That when I got back and saw her and I realised I qualified, she was so happy for me. I was just like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? That's the beauty about, this age group racing, because you see people like her.
Yeah.
We all see them at all the races. They're in their 70s and 80s, and we've had them on the podcast. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I've got a teammate who was John Sharp, who's also been on the podcast, and he was racing at the weekend at a sprint try, and he hasn't done anything for a while. And he's 80, and you look at these people and you think, I want to be like you when I'm,
when I'm that age. Yeah, definitely.
Just so, and then
so inspirational.
You see the rest of society, during your working day or whatever, and you think, yeah, I know which side of the fence I want to be on, to be honest.
Absolutely, mate. And I see that every day. I just think I'm glad I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So September come around, did a bit more training, and I went to Zofingen and did the World Championships, and it was one of them days where everything just went right. I just had such a good experience, and obviously that was an ultra distance. And I don't know if you ever ran Zofingen, but they got the wall there. They call it the wall, which is quite a steep hill.
Yeah,
it goes on for about half a mile. And every time I ran up it, I just embraced it. And the cycling route was so, because it's up a ski resort basically, and the hills are so high and the descents are so fast, and I just embraced every minute of it. I thought, I'm here. This is a good opportunity. I'm fit as I'm ever going to be. And I just embraced every minute of it, and I just got stuck right in,
Yeah.
And I still think now it's probably one of the best races of my life, when everything just lined up, and the nutrition was right, the air was right, my training was good, my bike felt good, and everything just lined up. Yeah. And I come 12th, and to actually make that statement of saying I come 12th in the world, I'll stick my chest out on that one. Okay, I'm not as good as Donald Brooks or some of the other top guys, but I'm just a lad who played football from Bristol, and then I decided to play rugby, and then I'll have a little crack at this.
Yeah.
And I did take a lot of advice from different people. I mean, Donald Brooks is one of them, especially with the bike, because I did a lot of cycling indoors, like he does on the turbo trainer, and I could still remember he gave me a link to get a free trial with what's the name? Not Zwift, the other one. Anyway,
Ruby.
No, Road Trainer. Trainer.
Right, yeah.
And he gave me a free link to get a trial, and I stuck on it. And my wife says, "Oh, he's under the stairs again." But basically, I just used to do my mileage on the tri bike under the stairs, and I worked so hard, and the running, I worked so hard. I did a lot of running with Teambridge Trotters and local runners, and I put all of that success that I can say I was 12th in the world, I was second GB athlete, down to not talent at all. It was just hard graft, and I worked really hard. I've put in miles and miles. I used to knock out 70-mile weeks on the running, and then 200-mile weeks on the bike. And I was quite relentless with it, really, and quite driven. Yeah. Unfortunately, after that, I started getting this sciatic pain in my back, and it was really painful and all down my side. So I got some medical advice from a local chiropractor, and we had an MRI scan, and one of my discs had displaced and come forward. So this disc that's displaced and come forward is rubbing on my sciatic nerve.
Right.
And John, the chiropractor, looked at it with me and the other medical professionals, and they said, you can continue to do all this stuff if you want, but you're just going to have to put yourself through more pain and put up with this stuff. And I just said, it's never worth it. You know, my kids are young as well. I want to spend some time with them. I'm going to take a bit of a rest from this because of my body's, again, battered and bruised, but for a different discipline.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all my muscles, all of my upper body, my legs, seem to be in good condition, like, because they haven't been smacked about, because I haven't been playing rugby, I haven't been playing football very much, you know, just little social stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I still do a few park runs and occasional running, but I've basically wound back loads on the running because I don't know if you've obviously, everyone that does this stuff lives with injuries, but sciatic pain is really not good. It's really nasty.
I've had it, and it's the worst.
Yeah. So I would say I'm never ever over the disc unless I have an operation, and I don't fancy that yet. So basically, I've just had to wind my neck in with it.
Yeah.
But still dealing with this kind of like ADHD that I got and this desire for competition, I just continue to push and push. And I continued then to play rugby and football. And believe it or not, the back doesn't hurt anymore. The sciatica doesn't hurt anymore, you know? And I played rugby for Devon Vets. I've played football for a local football team, normal age group football and vets football. And that just continued for the next couple of years just to keep me fit and competitive.
Yeah.
And then at 50, which was last year, 2024, in May, I turned 50. And I had a friend who basically played for England vets football. And he said, you should try it. And because I've been playing a little bit of social football. So I said, okay. And I sent a few emails and worked out what to do, and got endorsed by my local FA. And he said to me, can you send me a history of your footballing career? And I said, no. But I could tell I was 12th in the world at Duathlon. And he said, well, I don't really know if that counts. Never had anyone like this before. So I went for a trial game, and I did really well. And guess what? I played left wing back.
All right. Well, if it ain't broken.
Yeah, I played left wing back, and I was probably the fittest guy on the pitch.
Yeah, I could believe
probably the fittest guy on the pitch.
Just going back to your sciatica and your injury and your back problems. I mean, you're not feeling that playing rugby and football, and that was probably due to you're not over the handlebars on a bike for hours and hours on the turbo trainer in one position, and you're moving about at least, aren't you? And I think that's probably, not that I'm a doctor or anything, but it seems to, if I know what it's like being on there, and I haven't got back issues, but you do come off and you're not moving, are you, other than your legs? It's just...
Yeah, well, at this point I do a big shout out to Joe Arkle, the chiropractor, who assessed my injuries and stuff. And he claimed there was two main problems with the duathlon training I was doing. The first is the running. And he was telling me that consistent pounding on my discs in my back causes all the inflammation in between the disc joints and doesn't allow the cartilage to take the cushion. So the constant pounding meant that I never ever recovered from once the discs fell forward. It wouldn't give it an opportunity to kind of recover in between the vertebrae. So that was his comment about the running. And then he said that was compounded by the fact that you would then be bent over in the tri position and you'd never have any blood flow to the vertebrae. So you're basically got a problem and you're messing it up more by continuing to do it. Yeah. So he said, even if you're going to go back to it, just give it a break for a year or two to allow it to kind of get some kind of recovery. So since then, my back's not really been a problem. I mean, I can still give it a good old click and sort of go, oh, okay, I'm ready to go again. And I could run a 5K now, but I wouldn't be able to put in a 50-mile week and then go, oh, my back's all right. No, I would struggle. So I can play football for 90 minutes. I can play rugby. I can go for a 5K run. I can have a game of cricket, play wicket keeper. you know. So I still do those things, and then um, I love it. You know, I've got that competitive edge about me, and I just still want to play football, rugby, whatever, cricket. You know, local games, and that football match opened my eyes up really. So since then, I've gone to play with it for England 4 times
Right.
over at Vet 50s.
And who did
And
you play against?
we played against Panama.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and the other games they've been played against. We played against a Canadian team, Canada team, and the other 2 games we played were against younger teams that were charity matches.
Right.
As you can appreciate, it's quite hard to find other over 50 football teams without going out to the international scene. England have played in a competition against England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. This is where the shit that comes in is I wasn't selected for that competition. Otherwise, I would have more caps to my name.
Yeah.
Had a chat with the selector, the manager, and he said to me that I'm not quite there against all the other best footballers to be picked in that competition. So I was a bit like gutted, but of course that's probably the worst thing that can happen now, because obviously in my head now I'm going, right, I'm not missing that next year. But he did say to me there are a lot more new 50-year-olds coming in, and I'm like, oh really?
Yeah. Well, that's what happens in age group, isn't it? The younger ones come up, everybody starts, and you're getting older, and it's just
you've got to up your game, haven't you? You've got to up your game.
I don't know what it's like in football, what are the age groups like?
So it goes 50, 55, 60.
Oh, so it's the same 5-year increments, right?
Yeah, it starts at 50, yeah.
So when do you go up to the next one then? What?
Well, I'm 51, so
you got a while to go then.
Well, my problem is basically, going back to the history of who I am and what I did. When I decided in the year 2000 to give up football, I was on the edge of playing quite good football, earning money playing it. I decided at that point I didn't want to play football anymore. Maybe if I'd have carried on playing football for the next 10 years instead of playing rugby, I might be good enough. But
it's all ifs and buts, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course I'm not good enough, because the other guys I was playing with or am playing with, because he still said the door's open, and I'm still going to get selected for some less important games, which allows me to show my fitness and my strengths. They're all professionals. They're all ex-professionals.
I was going to say, do you get a lot of professionals coming in playing?
I mean, none of them are renowned professionals that you or me would know from our days of supporting England or whatever, but they are ex-professional footballers. There's hundreds out there.
Yeah.
And they're still fit and good at football. I mean, some of them are battered. It's like going into a war scene when you're in the changing rooms. Everyone's strapping everything up. But the level of quality and the level of performance that I'm just surrounded by, I'm just awed by it. In a different sense, like when I was awed by Ellie Pooley in the duathlon series. But now I'm getting this in football. So I feel like I've been enriched by it all. But I'm sort of, they say, master of none. But hey, I am a master, because I've played for my country in football, and I've done it in duathlon. So there's not many people that can say that aren't doing disabled category stuff,
No, you're right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Fair play to you, and well done, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to keep doing it. Unfortunately, they don't do a rugby vets 50 for England, because they don't want to encourage older men to play rugby because of head injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's probably just
all over that. I'm still an annoying scrum half.
Well, that's a great story, and thank you for sharing it.
I
really enjoyed that.
I guess when you've just lived through that experience, you don't see it as a story. You just see it as like, this is what I did. ADHD undiagnosed, and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, but like I was alluding to before, you look at what you've done, and you look at 95% of the population and what they've done, and it's like, and continue to do. You know what I mean? It's who would you rather be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to podcasts and I listen to Audible, stories, and what I'd like to, the message that I really want to say, and what I can never move away from, is that there are no shortcuts here, And when I see guys in the gym that look good and that look strong and their bodies are great, I don't think, oh, what a dickhead for being like that. I think I go over and shake his hand and say, well done, mate, because that didn't happen by accident. And none of this, being 50 years of age, being able to just walk out the door and do a 20-minute park run, it doesn't happen by accident, and the same for anyone else involved in sport at these levels. There's a lot of hard work, dedication, devotion, and it's not accidental that all these people that you come across that are involved in these circles, they're all nice people. They've all got a good story, and there's always good people to be around, and that's where that 5% of that population that you're talking about is all about. And as a teacher, I see that in the youngsters that are coming through, and I think you're one of us. You're one of our 5% if you see that in someone, but it's not very often you see it, and it's due to dedication, hard work, and consistent motivation, consistent dedication. And unfortunately, I wasn't given the big talented kind of like, here you go, here's your kind of talent like Wayne Rooney or whatever had. I have to work for everything. And that, I believe, what makes my personality and so many other people out there as well.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. I think hard work, people don't see it. You know what I mean? Because it's just it's what you do, isn't it? And if you haven't been given the God-given talent, you've got to use what you've got and
absolutely,
do the best with it you can. And that's exactly what you've done and continue to do so. So again, chapeau for that. It's great to hear. So, right. So we're going to just move on to the quick fire questions.
Okay, go for it.
The first one is, what's your favourite bit of kit? Now, in your case, you can go back to your duathlon days, or you can do present day now and talk about your football and.
It's meant to be quick fire, isn't it?
Quick fire, yeah. Quick fire.
Well, my problem is I've never had any bloody money because I'm a teacher. Us teachers get bugger all money. But when I have had money, I spent it on a focused bike. I bought a carbon fiber focus TT bike, and
Nice.
I fell in love with that. That was what I spent those hours under the stairs on.
Yeah.
So that my favourite bit of kit throughout my life has definitely been, which I've sold now, my TT bike, which was the focus. You know the one I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's usually the standard answer, by the way. Everybody says, "Oh, it's my bike," but then that's what we spend the most money on, isn't it? I guess.
Well, yeah, but I would say also I do really enjoy wearing Adidas World Cups football boots.
Yeah.
And I still use them now for refereeing. I'm also a level 4 referee as well, county
nice.
referee, football referee. So that's what I'm doing on Saturdays at the moment. Yeah.
Cool. So what are you training for now? Anything? Is it just football you're training? What does a week look like training wise?
Go for a run when I fancy it. Because I want to keep my fitness up when the phone goes for the next England call up. Also, I've just completed a fitness test, referee fitness test. We have to do a referee fitness test to go on to become a level 3 or level 4 referee. I did the fitness test, and I was the second fastest qualifier for the fitness test. The person that's in Devon, the person who was first was 25 years of age. So everyone was looking at me. We were at the running track and like, who is this guy? Yeah. Second fittest referee in Devon at 51 years of age.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So yeah, those are my fitness motivations at the moment.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good. As long as you've got something, that's the main thing, isn't it? To keep you motivated on.
Well, also my addiction to wing foiling at the moment is crazy. So like I'm out on the wing, I'm learning to do like upwind jibes and all these different tricks and jumps. So that's what my fitness is all around at the moment. That's why I've got tennis elbow.
What's the best piece of advice that you've been given?
Not advice, but more have a go. Like, the whole Donald Brooks thing of him just saying to me, you should do that. And the other things that happened to me as well, but more by accident, was the 5 minutes, 1 second and the 3 hours, 1 minute. those are the things that just ticked my brain and made me go, I'm not having that, you know. So yeah, it's more about teasing my brain than having actual advice. You know, medical advice was you know, really good. Other pieces of advice of running the marathon took so much advice. Everyone's got so much advice to give on running a marathon, but yeah, Donald Brooks just saying to me, "You should do this," and he doesn't even know this. He doesn't even know that I'm saying this. He doesn't have a clue.
He might do if he listens to this podcast.
Yeah, he might
remember. You're right. Well, I bet he does remember if you beat him. He'll remember that. And then, finally, what's your long-term goal? What would you like to see yourself doing in 5-10 years' time?
Well, I still want to represent England in football. I want to get into the 55s team. And I want to be a level 3 referee, football referee. I want to, yeah, I don't know, maybe I could go higher. I think I could because of my sort of background ability, but I don't think the FA are keen on promoting 50-year-old referees too much.
Right.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to referee some kind of like non-league football, you know, because you get paid quite well for that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, listen, you've had an amazing career in sport. Really enjoyed listening to you and all the adventures that you've been into and still doing today. So thank you ever so much once again for coming on and sharing. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So there he goes. A big thank you once again to Geoff for getting in touch and sharing his story with us here on the Agegroup Multisport Podcast. Really do appreciate it. We're still looking for guests. We're always looking for guests. So if you're an age grouper and you've represented your country, please do get in touch. You can DM us on most of the social media platforms. You can email us at agegroupmultisportpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Instagram at amp_podcast. We're on Facebook at Richard Joseph Conway, and we have our own YouTube channel, which is AmpGB. So please do get in touch, and yeah, be like Geoff and come on and share your story and inspire others. So that is it for this week, and we shall be back in a fortnight with another podcast. And until then, hope you have a great 2 weeks. And don't forget, stay safe, keep training, and love the process.